Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into Google's journey in the smartwatch space, and how they've finally found their groove with the Pixel Watch 3.0. Let's rewind a bit. When Google first dropped the Pixel Watch, it felt like a fancy Fitbit, cool, but not quite there yet. It had its quirks, and battery life was a letdown. Then came the Pixel Watch 2. It did a solid job of patching up those issues and making the whole experience smoother. But still, something was missing. Fast forward to the Pixel Watch 3, where Google stops playing catch-up and makes real strides. The upgrades fall into two categories: refinement and expansion. With refinement, Google fine-tuned the experience by improving battery life, boosting display brightness, and polishing the overall user interface. For expansion, Google introduced new features like advanced running metrics and deeper integration with its ecosystem, making the watch an integral part of the Google lifestyle. The cool part? Each small change adds up, showing that Google isn't just fixing mistakes, they're stepping into a new era of innovation. It's no longer a catch-up game, Google is starting to lead. If you've been waiting to dive into the Pixel Watch world, now might be the time. Stay tuned for updates and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about the Pixel Watch 3, and why it's actually a bigger deal than it seems at first glance. Now, I know what you're thinking, it looks a lot like the previous models, right? Google has made subtle hardware changes that make a big difference. The display is brighter this year at 2000 nits, and the bezels are 16% smaller. It might not seem like a game changer, but outdoors, that extra brightness really helps. Plus, the smaller bezels mean more screen space, whether you choose the 41mm or new 45mm version. Speaking of the 45mm size, let's give Google some credit here. One of the biggest complaints about the first two Pixel watches was the lack of a larger size. Well, they fixed that, and I have to say, even though it's a 45mm, it doesn't feel bulky at all. I've got small wrists, and even I can barely tell the difference between the 41mm and 45mm on my arm. After testing both for a couple of weeks, I've actually grown to prefer the larger one. Not only does the bigger screen help with readability, but the larger battery means I don't have to charge as often. Let's talk battery life, always a weak spot for the Pixel Watch, but this year? It's much improved. With Wear OS 5, actual displays, and a smarter battery saver mode, you can actually count on the 24-hour battery life. Automatic bedtime mode also kicks in without manual input. While it's not multi-day battery life, it's a big step forward. In my experience with the 45mm model, I've had no low battery surprises, usually ending the day with 50 to 80%. In a rundown test, I got about 32 hours. These small updates really add up, making Google a real contender in the smartwatch game. The Pixel Watch 3 is stepping up, especially in health and fitness. Initially, Fitbit handled the health side, but the experience felt disjointed across devices. Now, with Fitbit fully integrated into Google, everything is smoother, allowing the Pixel Watch 3 to explore new features and deliver a more cohesive experience. Now, here's what's new on the fitness and health front. A new running dashboard that gives you real-time feedback on your form. Custom running workouts tailored to your goals. AI-powered daily workout suggestions to keep things fresh. No more paywall on the daily readiness score, finally. A brand new cardio load metric to track your cardio progress. A morning health update called Morning Brief. The loss of pulse feature that will call emergency services if your heart rate flatlines, though it's still pending approval in some regions. Fitbit has always been about keeping things simple, focusing on getting your steps in and general fitness tracking. But the Pixel Watch 3 takes it up a notch, offering more advanced training tools while still being accessible for beginners or casual users. The new running dashboard is simple to use, offering more insights than Samsung or Apple but without Garmin's data overload. AI-generated workout suggestions are also helpful, like recommending a tempo run based on your routine, perfect for those new to running or looking for easy workout planning. The new Cardio Load feature by Google analyzes your cardio intensity over the past 7 days, compares it to previous weeks, and provides a personalized target after a 14-day calibration. It's designed to help new fitness enthusiasts improve while avoiding overtraining. Custom workouts are a great addition, especially for serious training, but there are some quirks. You can only set warm-ups and cooldowns by time, not distance, and the feature provides frequent feedback, such as pace deviations. Consider turning off voice alerts if you prefer less constant feedback. Future updates may address these issues. Finally, there's the loss of pulse feature, which is supposed to call emergency services if your heart stops. Unfortunately, it's still awaiting regulatory approval in the US, but when it's live, it'll be a big deal. No other smartwatch has this feature yet, so it's exciting to see Google pushing in a new direction. Let's dive into something cool about the Pixel Watch 3 and how it's better when paired with a Pixel phone. Now, I'm not a huge fan of devices working best only in their own ecosystem, but I've got to admit, the way Google has integrated everything this time is seriously impressive. Let me break it down for you. The Pixel Watch 3 has this new ultra-wideband chip that lets you automatically unlock your Pixel phone. It's a small touch, but trust me, it makes a difference in your daily routine. And get this, you can even use it to unlock certain BMWs. Not for me though, I like my turn signals too much for that. The Pixel Watch 3 can act as a Google TV remote, use offline Google Maps, and record calls or notes that sync to your Pixel 8 Pro. It also lets you handle calls and control your smart home, including unlocking doors, managing lights, and viewing your Nest doorbell feed directly on the watch. This feature has been a major time saver, especially for managing deliveries from your wrist. This kind of seamless integration feels like the magic Apple's ecosystem has had for years. But now Google's finally catching up, and considering how much more popular Google Home is compared to Samsung's SmartThings, that's a big deal. Now, I'm not saying it's going to topple Samsung's dominance in the Android world, but Pixel users? You're definitely going to be smiling. Choosing the best smartwatch often depends on your phone, but the Pixel Watch 3 brings Google's ambient computing vision closer to reality. Despite some imperfections, it's a significant improvement over its predecessors and rivals. Excitement is building for what the Pixel Watch 4 will offer.